If you're Eric Lindros and it's 1991, I am moving us on here, by the way. If you're Eric Lindros, it's 1991. You're the can't miss guy of the draft. And you know the team you're going to is a mess and you hate the owner. And I'm not saying that in this particular case, this is exactly how things are going. Team's a mess. Don't like the owner. Don't like the direction of the team. What do? Well, you do as Eric Lindros does, and you don't put on the jersey and you refuse to play for the team and force them to trade you. Now, that was back then when you could come into the NHL and make like $5 or $6 million right off the bat. You know, there were rookie salaries that were higher than guys that had been there for 6 or 7 years. There was no restrictions. You're Owen Power. This draft is a crapshoot, which everybody knows. People are looking at it like, man, we're not really sure. We're just going to guess. But we know you're good. So I would argue that makes, if I'm Owen Power, my value's just skyrocketed because I'm the most sure thing of a thing, which is the draft, which is not a sure thing ever. But I'm the most sure thing of this draft. So I arguably a more valuable first round pick than most years, because most years people will be like, well, I feel like we could get a guy with comparable talent at 15. This year, we just don't know. And I know there are rankings and that sort of thing, but to say that we're on the same level as we were 2 years ago is a lie. We're not. We don't know. We just don't know as much. And Owen Power has said he is staying at Michigan, where he currently plays, for at least the next 2 years.
Do you want me to read the quote?
Please do.
It doesn't say he's staying.
I want everyone to pay very close attention to the wording.
Okay. So when asked about it, he says, I wouldn't say I'm committed to going back to school. I mean, I'm probably leaning towards it right now. I think it would be pretty special just actually going to class and not doing it online. Just being able to do stuff other than go to the rink and home, I think would be something that I would like to do. And if you remember, this pandemic that we're in, Owen Power never got to experience his first year of university. He went to school at the University of Michigan, and he literally just played hockey and did all his classes online. So that's his reasoning for that. What do you guys take away from that?
Don't take me first.
Owen Power does not want to go to the Buffalo Sabres.
It's open-ended, right? So this is why the distinction of he doesn't actually say it is important here. Jesse, can you just read the first little bit one more time?
I wouldn't say I'm committed to going back to school. I mean, I'm probably leaning towards it right now.
Because you're going to go number one, kid. He doesn't want to go to the Buffalo Sabres. Now,
Owen Power, hold on, Steve. I just want to put this into context. He would rather study and do homework than make $1 million.
Okay, he's not doing.
He would rather study and do homework.
He's not doing any studying or homework.
Than make $1 million for 3 years. Then go to Buffalo. And you know who can't blame him? Anyone.
Well, it's Buffalo? Basically, I don't know if I'm ready to play first line in the show yet. Because, like, bro.
You know what I do if I'm Kevin Adams? I trade that pick for something valuable that someone is actually going to come play for me. Because even if they draft him, and even if he decides to sign, let's say he signs, we have a player who doesn't want to be here, which goes along with our entire team of players who don't want to be here, which include a previous second overall pick, excuse me.
What does Buffalo need more than players who actually want to be there?
Players.
Like, that's a tough one. The other, here's the thing. Here's the distinction from 1991, though, in simply trading the pick, simply picking him and then trading him.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who went number 2 was Pat Falloon. You know what I mean? Like, good. Pat Falloon was good.
He
was a
50-point
player, 50, 60-point player.
It's not Eric Lindros.
No. It's tough. You look at this draft because 3 was Scott Niedermayer.
Oh, could have been the Leafs.
Scott LaChance, Aaron Ward, Peter Forsberg. There are some very, very, very good players. Later in that round, 15th overall was Alex Kovalev. Next pick was Marcus Naslund. Holy shit. This is pretty good. This year, because it's such a crapshoot, I think what Owen Power is hoping for, or at very least his counsel, I think what they're hoping for is the Sabres simply pass. And they'll take someone else first overall. This happens in the OHL all the time.
Yeah.
where a guy goes first overall and we make a big deal of it, but they really were like the 6th or 7th ranked player because the team that has the first overall pick, all their players or all the players ahead of them use their leverage to be like, do not pick me. I don't want to come.
Yeah. Or a guy goes, 22nd overall, 23rd overall. And you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah, and it's always London.
Weird, right? It's so strange. How do they manage that? They must, you know what? It's crazy. I don't know how to get it.
There's a few teams who always get lucky in that regard.
It's weird. You know what? They're head of amateur scouting. Yeah. I guess that would be amateur scouting.
You can't put a price on Hockey Minds. There's no analytic for Hockey Minds.
True. No one would ever say that they're all talking to each other and it's a little bit rigged. But anyways.
Oh, that's ridiculous. How dare you?
The Sabres could get away with it too, just by being like, hey, we already drafted Darlene. We don't need another number 1 overall defenseman.
Yeah, fuck that. Who needs talent? Am I right?
Let's take a forward instead of Owen Power. Let's take Mason McTavish or whoever is projected to go second. Or Kent Johnson, I think, is the other guy.
Here's the thing. Owen Power, Jesse, doesn't want to get Rasmus Ristolainen or Rasmus Dahlin. He wants to be a great player. I think Rasmus Dahlin is actually going to be a great player for someone else one day. He is very good.
You know, Owen Power last year, well, he played at U of Michigan this year, but the year before he played for the Chicago Steel of the USHL, which is essentially the USHL farm team of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he's going to go to the Leafs. I don't know if you know this or not. Owen Power, future Leaf, called it. Save this clip. It's a very interesting strategy from the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Adams has such a hard job. He has such a hard job. And you know what's crazy? This is not even close to his top priority.
But they did make a couple hires over the weekend, which was good. Elliot Friedman tweeted about, they hired, I forget what they hired, but Elliot Friedman tweeted about, it's like interesting developments out of Buffalo. And then they mentioned the 2 people they hired. And then Elliot wrote, or then somebody replied, why is this interesting? And I thought maybe it's interesting because they hired someone. Usually when you hear about Buffalo, they're firing people.
So, yeah, they just need players for God's sake. The people working for them for God's sake. But these are very good hires. I'm not going to lie. I don't know a ton about Jason Nightingale, who is now the assistant director of amateur scouting. Hey, scouting. That's pretty neat. High five. But interesting hire by Buffalo. Sam Ventura from Pittsburgh as its VP of hockey strategy and research. So this is them dipping deeper into analytics. Sam Ventura has a Stanley Cup ring with at least one Stanley Cup ring. He might have 2 with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know enough about Jason Nightingale, but they have 2 new people working for them. Isn't that neat? Isn't that great? That's a great start. That's good news for Sabres fans. How often do we say that on this show? Good news.
And
Good
I think the analytics community made a big deal of Sam Ventura because he headed up the Pittsburgh department, and then when they reshuffled everything, he was kind of a free agent now, and Buffalo jumped on him. And they also hired Jason Karmanos earlier, who was also from the Pittsburgh organization. So they've been building some solid front office hires, which is nice to see.
Is Jason Karmanos the same guy, the same Karmanos family that used to own the Hurricanes?
I believe this is one of the kids who sued their dad.
No.
There's no
way. Really?
Didn't we talk about this on the show?
We did, but I'm not sure if it was it the kids or the grandkids?
Is it the same person?
I don't know.
It is the same family.
We should maybe make sure of that.
Yeah.
Maybe don't throw that out there.
His dad is Peter Karmanos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So some of the kids, what we understand, sued Peter Karmanos.
I don't know if Jason was involved in the lawsuit.
You're right. I don't know either.
Peter Karmanos sued by his adult sons. This is from J.C. Rendill, Detroit Free Press. The lawsuit, this is just an excerpt, 3rd paragraph. The lawsuit was filed last week by the stock partnership against Karmanos 73 in Oakland County Circuit Court. The 3 sons in the partnership are Peter Karmanos III, Nick Karmanos, and Jason Karmanos, who are from Karmanos' first marriage to Barbara Ann Karmanos.
Okay. So that would be the same Karmanos.
Unless he's got two sons named Jason.
Jason and Jason the second Jr.
The third.
Okay, so that's all right. Okay, well now
He's
we
quite
made
a few
connection.
siblings, actually.
Hey, is hockey insular? I don't know.
A little bit.
I'm not listen. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but is hockey a little insular? Yeah, just a little.
I'm not criticizing the move. I'm just simply stating.
No, the minority owner of another team, and his son is in this organization. He knows this guy.
So weird.
Like, Jesus.
So weird.
Thing.
It sure is a thing.